Hey Nomads, thank you so much for checking out this video. This is one where I'm doing a little listen and react. So I'm going to give a close listen to a song and I'm going to share with you some of the things that I'm hearing. You know, as a musician, sometimes I wonder if musicians hear music differently than the general public. Maybe not, I don't know. I certainly know that my fellow musicians hear things differently, right? There are things that stick out to all of us just because all of our ears are unique. We all come from a different background and just kind of are drawn to different things. So that's some of the most interesting things that I think about music and what it has to offer people is just a way to appreciate different views. So I'm just here to talk about what I'm hearing and share some of that with you. So thanks so much for being along on that journey with me. So I'm really excited about the song that I'm going to listen to today. It's from a band called Larkin Poe. Now, I came across them on TikTok. I'm pretty sure they're sisters. One of them plays a slide guitar, the other plays a regular guitar, and they both sing. They are so incredibly talented. They harmonize so beautifully together. Their albums are fantastic, but the stuff they do on social media is like just as cool, and it's very different than their albums. So I highly recommend you guys doing a deep dive on these ladies. They are fantastic. I am a big fan of female-led music, rock and roll in particular, and Larkin Poe is such a great example of that. So I'm really excited to go give this a listen. But before we get into that, let me give you my little blurb and spiel. Here's where I'm going to ask you to like, comment, share, subscribe, check out my different social media sites, all that fun stuff. If you like what's here on my YouTube channel and on my other social media, you can always throw me a tip over on Venmo at OneManDue. I would really appreciate any and all of that support. So let's roll my theme song, and then I cannot wait to give this song a listen. All right. A band with just one dude, no reason to fret. I'll play with myself. It's Nate's one-man duet. Yeah. All right, so I'm going to forewarn you guys. I'm going to talk a lot in this video. I'm going to be stopping the music. So if you're here wanting to just listen to the song, this is not the right video for you to watch because I will annoy you by stopping frequently. I do highly recommend go download this music, stream this music, check these guys out. But I'm just giving everybody a warning that I'm going to interrupt and talk a lot. All right? Okay, so here we go. Let's give it a listen. All right, so right off the bat, wow, that was such an interesting first couple seconds. Like, they fall into this groove that immediately got me going like, yep, I remember why I love this song. But that first like 2 or 3 seconds was just a joyful noise that I was like, oh, I thought this song was like a bit of a, a banger. And it got there, but that was interesting. I had never really picked up on that before. So, all right, back to the awesomeness. Let's go.
What you see is what you get.
So I am always amazed by how simple things are that get you rocking, right? If you listen to that, that was just a very simple bass drum, snare. I think there was a hi-hat in the mix, but like how is something that is that simple just gets us moving, right? There's something built into us. I was about to say spiritual, and depending on how you look at things, yeah, it speaks to our soul. At least it does for me, that simple thing. And then there was this really cool moment where they transitioned from the intro into the verse where it kind of had that space and there was like an echoey voice. What you see. Yeah, it was such a cool transition. I love that kind of stuff. Awesome production, awesome performances in those moments. Absolutely love it.
I ain't gonna sugarcoat it. What you see is what you want, so come on, take a little bit.
Again, simple drums.
Bliss, bliss on the wings of a kiss. We're gonna fly till you can't fly higher. What you see is what you get. It don't get better than this.
So, some things that I'm hearing, I love the quality of the voice. It's like just that little bit of dirty quality in how it's recorded, right? That little bit of grit in the voice. And man, the guitar performance is so great. There's like this tiny touch of vibrato in how she's playing. I mean, it's just masterful. I'm hearing this going, oh my gosh, this is so well done. And we haven't even gotten to the chorus yet. So don't bore us, get to the chorus, as they say. So I think we're right at that. Let's hear this song kicks it into another gear in this chorus. I love it. So it's really interesting. On one hand, the drum is continuing that, but the bass has picked up and doing a more driving doom, 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 doom. Whereas before it was more riff oriented, do, 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 do. And now it's squared up, just kind of hitting those quarter notes, doom, 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 doom. So obviously the chorus, the vocals are different. They're doing some really cool layering of their vocals. Sounds great. But also those instrumentation changes are interesting. I always love hearing how artists and producers kind of differentiate sonically what is happening in verses versus choruses. And then if this song has a bridge, that will also often tend to be its own kind of little, it's got a different flavor there too. So let's continue with our listen. So I had an ear out for how they were going to transition from chorus back to a verse. And I thought they were going to do an extended pause, but it was just a little hiccup of a pause, like a quarter note, boom. And then they kind of went back into that riff that really drives the song forward. So I love the way they did that. It was cool. Yeah.
Sweat and tears will spice it up. You're sharper than a tin can. In my kitchen, we'll cook it up. So come on.
The other thing that's really interesting when you get a song like this that's riff oriented is also space, right? Where they're not playing, where they're just letting the drum kind of carry that on, and then the guitar and the bass just come in down, down, bow, bow. It's such an effective thing. It's so funny. These, in a lot of ways, these are just old school, rock and roll techniques but they're so effective. And I always like how bands, like in this example, can do it and it sounds fresh, even though they're using like old tricks and techniques. I just love that juxtaposition.
Big-legged man. Oh, bliss on the wings of a kiss. We're gonna fly till you can't fly higher. What you see is what you get, and it don't get better than this. Give you a sugar high. Pop the top and break me dry. Give you a sugar high.
So I was talking earlier about the layering, and again, I think these two are sisters. Forgive me if that's not the case, but bandmates, we'll call them that. They're doing such that great trade-off. One is singing the melody, and the other is doing that. So effective, so great. And their voices, they sound great together here. But again, check out their TikTok. Their voices blend so amazingly. They are so awesome. I love them.
Sugar high.
The other thing that I find really interesting is that background thing, the I'm pretty sure she's singing the same notes, but the chords underneath are changing. I love that technique. It makes it sound like she's singing something. The melody notes might be different, but that are the same notes throughout. But with everything else moving and dancing around it, it sounds way more complex than it actually is. Again, brilliance.
Are you feeling lighter? Are you levitating off the floor? Tripping on love.
All right, so here's a bridge, and it's doing, at least so far, it's doing this kind of incremental shifting up of note. Dun, 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 dun. Probably going to follow that that scale further up. It'll be interesting to see how much of that they do, but when a bridge is written this way, it's building you up, and it also can sometimes build tension, which is what felt like was happening here. So we'll keep an ear out for those things.
I'm gonna take you higher than anybody's ever been before. Tripping on love, the sweetest drug. Tripping on love, the sweetest drug.
So yeah, it didn't do what I thought it was going to do. So it was doing some like do, kind of dancing back and forth, going up and down. Super cool. I love good bridges they feel like spiritually part of the same song. Thematically, it's like familiar, and it sounds like it's the same song, but it's also different, and it's giving your ear something new to chew on, if you will. So this that bridge did that very effectively. Into the chorus. So cool. There's some really awesome riff work being done, and it's really low in the mix, interestingly. A lot of times artists will put those kind of riffs like very punchy in the mix, almost at the same volume or even sometimes higher than the vocals. But here they're much lower. Again, interesting artistic choices, but the guitar player's rocking out. Such a cool ending. Yeah, that strong riff and then the little slide down. So awesome. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please do check out Larkin Poe. They are incredible. I think this is just one of many songs that I have in the potential pipeline of songs to listen and react to from them. Really like their stuff. And as I've said repeatedly, their social media, their TikTok, top notch. Highly recommend. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope I've inspired you to discover a new artist if you weren't familiar with these guys. And yeah, I really appreciate you spending some time with me. And please do peruse the rest of my YouTube channel. I've got lots of different content of some of my own covers and some silly stuff. Kind of all over the place, but I really appreciate you watching, and we'll see you next time. Why was that?